And welcome back, everybody, to oh, there goes a bird. Welcome back, everybody, to another live stream. Once again, we are back for another severe weather discussion stream, and there is lots to talk about today. We're not going to take too much of your time here, but today's agenda, it looks the same like the last couple streams here. We have severe weather possible tomorrow. As you can see, I didn't put likely in there. We will tell you why. A little bit skeptical and not too sure about what's going to happen, but we'll explain that here in just a little bit. But just like usual, we're going to explain the timing, the impacts, and the uncertainties that may that will be with this system. And of course, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them down in the chat and we'll make sure we get those to you. How's everybody doing today? Glad to see you on this Saturday evening. It's very nice out here. You see, you take a look at our rain camera, you can see some bubbly clouds. No factor there, but very nice outside at the TKW Resort Studio here in the Creve Coeur area. So let's get right into the live stream. How are you guys doing today? Glad to see you. You guys can see me. Make sure I'm in the frame. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what I was laughing at, but it was pretty funny in the moment. So, but how you guys doing today? Once again, you can see already that we are back for another live severe weather discussion. And let's just hop right into it. And of course, let me know where you guys are watching from because I am nosy and also just curious where our live watchers are tuning in from. But let's take a look here. Not really too much to talk about on this screen. This is the severe weather outlook. So this is a 2 out of 5. Everyone is in a 2 out of 5 of seeing severe weather, which basically means isolated severe weather is going to be possible on Sunday. I know it's Father's Day. It is not good, but everybody's in a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. We'll show you that right now. So here's our tornado risk. Also for tornado risk, we are in a 5% chance of seeing a tornado 25 miles from a point. So if you're anywhere in this area, we do have a chance of seeing a tornado. And I don't want to scare you because you see these lines. And of course, someone should have placed a bet if I was going to have my pin ready because I don't. So let's take a look here. So these little lines that you see going across your screen, that means that we could see a strong tornado. That is what that means. So the Storm Prediction Center says if we see a tornado, one could be on the strong side. But remember, this risk is very low, okay? So I don't want you guys to panic yet or to have any fear. This risk is very low and it's also conditional. Like in the intro, we said it's possible. So we'll take a look at that in just a second with the timing. Let's take another look at the wind department. Same story as the last couple events. 15% chance of seeing winds over 60 miles per hour. So there's a likelihood that we could see that, which is no issue there. And then the hail, the most amount of questions I got is the hail. Everybody is in a hail risk. Besides a couple places over here near, let's take a look over near St. Lebroy, Marissa, Mascoutah are not in the significant hail risk, which mainly means that we could see stuff that's greater than golf ball size. So we could see some hail, we could see wind, and we could see some tornadoes and maybe a strong one too. That could be possible. Okay, everybody, the key word is possible. So that is the outlook for the severe weather. We will go straight to the models because, like I said, don't want to take too much your time because it's very nice out this Saturday evening. So we're going to go over the timing and I want you guys to look at both. Will your pops be able to get his barbecue in on tomorrow? I don't think so. I think we have resorted to the indoor grill, so that is unfortunate, but we'll see how it works out. You guys want a picture of that? We can send a picture through. So let me get the timing at the top part of the screen just so it's easier for you guys to follow along. And while we go over this, we will be walking you through what we think here. And below the bottom ticker is something I'm working on. It's not 100% accurate, but just something that you guys can look at as well. So let's take a look. Let's get the timing up. Let's get the zoom. Let's bring it in so you guys can see the timing with us. So the models here, I just want to show you the models. It there's a the HRRR that we are about to show you. This is the worst case scenario, okay? So this is the worst case scenario. So let's follow along here. So overnight tonight, nothing to worry about. Maybe a passing shower or two, but overall, nothing crazy. And as we go into Father's Day, it's going to get very active. That's why I put the time in the top part of the screen. Let's take a look here. So the very early morning hours, very early, talking about 6, 7, 8 o'clock, is still going to be dry, but there's going to be a whole mess showers and thunderstorms. Can't rule out a severe one or two, mainly for wind. This morning round is going to be a wind and flooding threat. So you can see as we move through the area, once it gets about 10 a.m., starts entering our area. Now, once we get to lunchtime, we could see some severe storms, maybe an isolated wind concern, but overall nothing crazy here. And then you can see as it moves through the afternoon time, we get this little Boeing segment. You see this Boeing segment out here that forms into like a Boeing line? We could see some damaging winds, maybe up to 60 miles per hour, but the likelihood of that, the confidence is low if we actually see that. But we'll be monitoring that as well, and we'll jump on live if we need to. But once we get into 2 p.m., this is still the first round, by the way. There's 2 rounds. This is still the first round. Once we get to 2 p.m., showers and thunderstorms, like I said, maybe a wind gust report that we could see, but mainly non-severe storms as it continues to push off to the east. Now, look into the evening time. Once we get into the evening time, look as we have showers and thunderstorms bubbling up. Now, you're probably wondering, why is it such a corridor? Well, because afterwards, there is going to be like a warm front. And the warm front, you can see, sits right about I-70, roughly about I-70. And what storms like to do, they are very attracted to the warm front. And it's basically, if you attract to the warm front, you get $1 million. The storms want that. So they ride the warm front, and that's where you can see the most significant amount of severe weather that could be possible. A strong tornado can't be ruled out, damaging winds and tail. You just see the whole 9 yards with it. So watch as they just ride that boundary there. See how they stick right along this boundary and south of it? That is where we could see the severe weather. So this model right here, mainly about I-70 south, is where we're looking at for the major severe weather. And let me just tell you, this is just one model, okay? Don't take this and say there's severe weather tomorrow. It's conditional. I'm going to tell you that in just a second of why. But you can see the storms are still riding along the boundary. You can see numerous severe storms are possible as the model is showing still south of this. And by the time we get to about 10 p.m., it starts to move to the south, starts to wrap up. And by the time we get into the overnight hours, it really starts to fade away and we are just fine. So that is scenario 1. That is the first scenario, okay? That is the worst case scenario. That's what could happen. Now let's go to the NAM. And I want to tell you, a lot of people say the NAM is the never accurate model, but it has been accurate these past couple events, because remember all these times that we forecast severe weather and it doesn't happen, and you know, it's just a lot going on here. But I think this setup is a little bit different than we have in the last time. I really think it's still conditional in this thread, because look at the NAM model. So the showers and thunderstorms overnight, maybe a sprinkle or two, don't be surprised. But as we go into the morning time is good. But look out to the west, the timing is a little bit later. You see that? The timing is a little bit later. And that is something that we're going to be monitoring. The timing will influence a lot of what happens tomorrow. So first round here, moving a little bit late. Look at the NAM model. Just this completely disregards the situation. You can see it's all lined up there. Damaging winds are moving through, and it just falls apart as it gets to our area. Now, once we get into the afternoon time, the NAM still shows the warm front right along I-70, which, just to be honest with you, let's just take a pause. So the warm front, we won't know where the warm front, like the boundary, basically there's going to be a boundary that sits like this. We won't know where it actually sits until tomorrow. So very good indication that we think it's right around along I-70. So that's what we're going with tonight. But it could always change tomorrow, and I'll tell you what that means here in just a second. So the NAM model is keeping everything south of I-70. Any severe weather, any of these storms out in front could pose a tornado risk as well. But you can see the main line of storms here. Don't think of it as the exact location. Still out near central Missouri, and as it moves towards our area, it tries to grow in size, but there's really not much severe weather in this. So the NAM is not showing too much of severe weather. It does downplay it and say it's not really going to be a lot happening. So that is the best case scenario. We have all these storms moving in too late, can't really recover afterwards, and then the storms roll in. We still see showers and thunderstorms, but they won't be severe. Nothing to worry about. Probably won't need the live stream. But that is the two scenarios. So both of the models are not agreeing on a worst case scenario or the best case scenario. But this one to show you about, just what's happening here as we go into Father's Day. So, like I said, Father's Day, especially if you have anything going on, try to get it done very early in the morning. Anything going on very early in the morning, any church services, anything, try to get them in the morning. And then in the afternoon time, once we get the late morning, afternoon time, you really need to pay attention to my Facebook page because a lot of things can change, because we're just going to give a couple scenarios that will be happening. But before that, I want to answer some questions in the chat. So John says, thank you for the breakdown, Kenny. You're the man. Thank you very much. Man, it's June. These spring storms got to go. Well, hopefully they go sometime soon. Tony says, great reporting. I appreciate that. Ashton, oh, you just asked your question. And Mike says, thank you for the reporting for the severe weather. Oh, yeah. Oh, good job for me reporting. Horrible for the severe weather. I know. I'm actually kind of tired of, not going to lie. Tony says, I have to travel to KC tomorrow. What time we suggest starting out where I can miss most of the bad weather? Well, unfortunately, Tony, everything's coming from Kansas City. So right now, there's really no good time. Basically, the timing is never. So, not to try to be funny or anything, but there's really no good timing, because as soon as the first round leaves, the second round is going to start back up. So, there's really no straight shot that you can get the Kansas City storm free. So, unfortunately, no good time, but let's just stay weather aware. Ashton says, I've seen multiple people post StormNet tornado guesses, and they show really high percent, but when I go on there, it only shows about 10%. Why is this? Well, the tornado StormNet thing is AI generated. A lot of people said it's been accurate, but it's just an AI computer that is suggesting off the parameters of what's happening. But here is the scenario with this. So let's take a look, everybody, because we're going to go over the scenarios of what could happen, because it's conditional. There's not a high likelihood that we'll see severe weather. There's a chance that we won't. And also, to be completely honest with you, it's an all or nothing situation. Like, either we get everything or we don't get everything. It's one of those type of situations. So if you're just tuning in, the main factor of tomorrow, the morning threat is just a damaging wind and flooding threat, okay? We might get a warning. We'll be live if we do get a warning, so make sure you're following the Facebook page throughout the late morning hours, because timing could change a little bit. And then as we go into the afternoon, the HRRR expects rapid recovery, like a light switch recovery, and it has a boundary. So this boundary right here, like I mentioned earlier, storms are very attracted to the boundary because it gives them all the good stuff, because you have cold air coming from the north and you'll have winds bringing warm air from the south, and where they meet is where that boundary is. So at the boundary, let's just say if the boundary sets up like south of our area, like through Festus and Sullivan, all of us up north are going to get no severe weather. It's basically going to be a letdown if you like severe weather, which I don't think no one does. But all the severe weather will be pushed to the south. Now, if the warm front comes in and it says right along I-70, anywhere along I-70 south could have the severe weather threat of strong tornadoes could be possible, not likely, possible hail damaging winds. And then if it sits a little bit north, the main tornado risk will be towards the north. So it'll be north of our area and it'll be pushing to the south, which will pose mainly a damaging wind and hail threat. So there's a lot, basically what I'm trying to tell you is there's a lot of things that could happen tomorrow, and it really, you need to pay attention throughout the day. So when you go to sleep, turn your alerts on your phone. If you're going out and about, make sure you have ways to tune into my live stream, because a lot of variables are in place, and it's a very tricky forecast with this system because we're relying on, one, the storms to move out quickly, two, we're expecting this atmosphere to recover real quickly, and then three, we have to watch the placement on the where the boundary goes. So there's three things that we're paying attention to. There's not a lot of morning storms. Expect severe storms in the afternoons. There are a lot of morning storms. We have to see how long they last, because you can see the HRRR, even though it only has like an hour or two, it's going to spark up the storms very quickly along that boundary. And look at all the severe storms that are popping up around the area, producing severe weather in the St. Louis region. Now, like I said, the NAM, this shows the atmosphere. The storm's coming in a little bit late. Let's get the timing here. The storm's coming in a little bit later than the HRRR, not doing a whole lot, but they expect, the NAM expects cooler temperatures and clouds to linger to limit the severe weather threat, because you can see the storms try to fire up here, but they struggle, almost like the last system. They try to struggle, and then we get like a line of storms that try to move through that could pose a damaging wind, but almost just fall apart once they get to our area. So, like I said, there's two situations that will be happening tomorrow, that could happen tomorrow, where we get the severe weather threat or we get a toned down severe weather threat. And like I said, it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing, and it's basically where that boundary sets up. And if it sets up around I-70, we could be in store for a long day if the atmosphere can recover. So basically, short story is, we don't want the atmosphere to recover. We don't want it to recover. We want it to stay cloudy, and we want it to stay cooler than the temperatures, so then we don't have any severe weather as well. So one thing is, we do have the StormNet thing, which Ashton talked about. And like I said, this is like the AI. This is what other pages you might have seen posting for severe weather. Haley, you missed that we have severe weather tomorrow, and it's a conditional risk. There is limiting factors like morning storms, warm front placement, things like that, that will all influence the storms for tomorrow. So let's see. Let's take a look. I'm going to try to get the map up here so you can see. So this is the AI. This is AI generated. We love AI sometimes, but we put the tornado risk on here. And as we go into the weekend, look at this. This is from like okay. Let's see if we can get this off. I think we can get it off. Okay, there we go. So as we go into the evening time, this is about 2, 3 o'clock. Look at our tornado risk here. It's there, but not there. You can see it centers up right along us, but there's no like high confidence in the tornado department. You can see it's very low. So what this suggests, basically, it means that we could get some storms to fire, but the tornado risk, it doesn't look like the atmosphere will be able to recover itself to provide that severe risk that some people have been hoping for, which I do not hope for that, but I do not really see it happening. It's really going to have to take a lot, but look at the wind threat. This is the damaging wind risk, and you can see this is up to about 50-70% that we can see damaging winds throughout our area through the first part. This is the first part. So damaging winds in the late morning to afternoon, and then as the warm front boundary sets in and tries to fuel storms, it's really not showing much, and it's really south of our area as well. So there's not a lot of confidence of the severe storms. And in my honest opinion, I just like I just don't see how the atmosphere is going to recover so quickly. There's just not that much time. Like the last system, we had all the variables in place, the atmosphere recovered, but there was a cap in place. So we could have, but it just didn't work out. But I think the NAM has the best case scenario that we'll see showers and thunderstorms in the morning, which could pose a damaging wind risk, but then we'll see storms pop up, but they'll just struggle to get severe. I just don't see too much confidence that we'll see a full-on severe weather outbreak or much severe weather with this event. It's not really having a lot of signals that will, you know, interest me that there is a severe weather event happening. Because if you look at the HRRR, like it just wants us to go crazy because it has the showers and thunderstorms. We get severe weather in round one, then we get severe weather in round two. I just don't see how that's going to happen, but it's possible. I would say the last couple events with the HRRR, it has been too aggressive. The NAM has been right about where it should be. So I think the HRRR, in my opinion, is being a little bit on the aggressive side, but it does show the worst case scenario if the atmosphere recovers quickly and everything moves out of the way in the morning. It does show what the atmosphere could be capable of. So as you're going to sleep tonight, let's not panic. There is still two situations, conditional, and we'll monitor the data that comes in here about an hour or so. Post another update around 9 o'clock. So stay up just a little bit for another update. And plus, even though it's Father's Day, we'll make sure we'll keep you safe during the storm. So if there's any live coverage that needs to be provided, we'll provide live coverage and post updates throughout the day of this tricky forecast as well. So we're not going anywhere tomorrow. We're going to be here watching the weather for you, make sure we're all okay. But let's not be surprised if the storms are not severe, but we do have showers and thunderstorms. I feel confident that we'll see rain and storms, but the severity, not too sure if we're going to see that or not. I think we're just going to see showers and thunderstorms, maybe a severe storm or two, but that could always change. The models could always change, and what actually happens can always change. So I'm just letting you know there's a lot of change from now till the event starts tomorrow that can change. So there's a lot of variables that can still change, and we have to watch what the storms move out of Kansas City do in the morning time and see what the atmosphere is. A lot of listening, watching, and not so much looking at the models tomorrow. Is really what we're going to be staring at the radar a lot to try to figure out what's happening. So, like I said, it's conditional. If you see a lot of posts that talk about like strong severe weather outbreak, it's possible, but it's conditional. It may not happen. We've seen it how many times? I think 1, 2, 3. Do I need to keep going? Where we have this set up and then the storms just can't get it together, can't get their act together. So, like I said, keep an eye open just in case we get those strong severe storms, but don't worry, I'll be here walking you through on the live stream when that happens, and also be ready if nothing happens, but still expect some storms. So throughout the day, just make sure you have warnings, make sure you're watching for updates. We're going to be spamming your Facebook feed with updates with new information as well. So lots of information coming to you tomorrow. And before we head off the live stream, if we do get a tornado with the atmosphere recovering, the storm prediction centers may think that there could be a strong one or two, but I don't want you to panic yet, okay? No need to panic. I would say let's panic once we see what these morning storms do, because there's a lot of change in the forecast that can happen from now and then. And I keep repeating myself because that's the key. So we can see damaging winds in the morning and afternoon, hail probability mainly in the afternoon as well. So 2 rounds of storms that will be coming to the St. Louis region. So does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, recipes? Or what are you doing for the rest of the evening or for Father's Day? Love to hear it. If not, I think we will wrap up the live stream for now. We'll monitor the data. We'll post an update probably around like 8:45, 9 p.m. That's when the new round of models come in, so we can take a look, see what the models are thinking, try to get agreement. Don't like posting updates a lot days before the event because sometimes the models stay the same, so there's no point of repeating myself, if that makes sense. Really want to let you guys know there's new data if that's the case. So we're gonna post at 9:30, the last 9:30, stuff like that. The last update for the night. Let you guys know what's happening. So Ashley says thank you so much. Ashton says thank you. And I think I missed a comment up here. Not sure if she's still in here. Oh yeah, Maria, not sure if you're still in here. You're watching from Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin. It's an interesting drive for tomorrow from Wisconsin. Let's take a look. Which showers and thunderstorms, I would try to get, if you want to, depending on your driving ability, I think try to get home probably during the early morning. So leave like very early. Get home probably between like 10 o'clock, like 10 a.m. So appreciate all these nice comments. It's very nice to hear you guys like this kind of stuff. I was going to make a video, but I didn't want to make like a 20-minute video, so I did a live stream, and you can watch it back as much as you can, and it lets me explain both of the scenarios that could happen and answer all your questions. So without any further questions, I think we're going to wrap up the live stream. We'll pay attention to all my 6 monitors of the weather data that's coming in, and we'll keep you updated around the clock overnight and tomorrow, and provide a live stream if needed right here on the Team Kenny Weather page. So without further ado, I think we're going to wrap up the outro. Got copyrighted for the outro music, so we had to change it up a little bit, so hopefully you guys like it. And hopefully we don't see you tomorrow, but if we do, we'll see you back here for live severe weather coverage. Have a good night. See ya.